Two U.S. states bordering Canada now have confirmed cases of avian flu. Idaho and Michigan warning about the bird flu spreading among dairy cattle throughout the country. So is there concern here in Canada? Let's bring in Dr. Isaac Bogoch, infectious disease specialist. Doctor, thank you as always for joining us.
My pleasure, Roger.
Do we need to be concerned about this spreading across North America?
I mean, I think it's something we obviously have to be aware about, and we have, several agencies that are tracking this very closely. Obviously, the Public Health Agency of Canada has pretty reasonable and significant surveillance programs, but also the Canadian Food Inspection Agency is heavily involved, and they would be the ones to really ensure the safety and security of the food producing animals and conducting surveillance in farms, for example, poultry farms, or with dairy cows, as we've seen in the United States. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's something that needs to be aware of, that Canadians need to be aware of, but in terms of ensuring a healthy and safe food product that enters that comes into our homes, we're in good shape.
Now, is this something new that it's jumping over to dairy cows, or has it been around for a while?
No, this is new, and avian influenza has been known to infect many mammals. When the birds sadly die off, we see scavenging mammals pick up this virus, and they can get very sick. Also, marine mammals, so seals and sea lions, can be exposed to the dead birds that land on the shores or their feces and get infected. And there's been large die-offs, for example, in South America, but this is really the first time that dairy producing cattle have been impacted by it. So that is certainly new. And anytime a mammal gets infected with this, it raises concern about mutations from transmission between mammal to mammal, because obviously humans are mammals and we don't want to get this infection because it can be very significant. And B, it obviously highlights the importance of ensuring the integrity of food safety. So that's why this is being discussed right now.
And is there any concerns that we could pick it up from eating chickens and eggs?
I think the likelihood of that is just extraordinarily low. We've had outbreaks on poultry farms in Canada before, and obviously this is known to impact poultry farms elsewhere in the world. Poultry and other birds get very sick very quickly, and typically in settings like this, these are taken obviously very seriously, and you see culling of flocks and the insurance that none of the products from the affected farm make it to commercial sales. So there's a lot of oversight over this in Canada and elsewhere in the world, and again, birds get really sick. What's interesting is the cows get sick, but they don't tend to get as sick as other animals. So they still produce milk, but they might produce less milk, and there's other signs of illness, which is obviously interesting. But again, you don't want to have any product from an ill animal make it to the table.
And can we catch the flu in other ways?
Yeah, I mean, primarily this is a respiratory virus, and it's transmitted through the air between animals. But we've seen these bird die-offs, and mammals, typically scavenging mammals, acquire this infection through ingestion or close contact with the dead birds or their feces. So obviously we have to be open-minded to multiple ways that this infection can be acquired. I think it's important to remember too, for example, like in Canada, we have mandatory milk pasteurization, right? And that for milk to make it to the grocery store, this has to be pasteurized. That means the milk is heated up, and this kills the vast majority of pathogens. Our milk supply is safe because of that. We don't get sick from not just viruses, but other bacteria that can enter the food space.